show you how to get the best prices and the best service than anywhere else.
Follow News 1226 on Twitter to keep informed with the latest happening near you.
On your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Angry and heartbroken. That's how one daughter says she feels after learning what goes on inside her mom's personal care home. Hear her message to other families.
Plus, Augusta Transit's new
Call home their fight for safe and affordable housing. But first up this evening, we're hearing from the family of one of those survivors at First Love Personal Care Home in Augusta. An investigation showing 130-degree temperatures inside, bed bugs, no hot water, no gas supply.
Officials are now looking into if those conditions are responsible for the death of 2 women found dead inside that home earlier this week, and the reason 4 more were hospitalized. Tonight, we know at least 3 of those residents have been released from the hospital, so that is good news. But News 12 Celeste Springer talked to the daughter of one who says First Love can't be trusted.
One here at First Love Personal Care Home has sent one former resident into a downward mental spiral, according to her daughter. Ridden with bed bugs and temperatures reaching above 135 degrees, 6 people were laying inside here. Now we're talking to one of the daughters of one of those 6 who says she's now fighting for justice for her mother.
I'm angry. I am very angry at the overall situation.
Melissa LaEllen says she wishes she knew about the conditions inside First Love Personal Care Home.
It's always been so good. Like every time I go in there, the care workers are always, very, 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 nice to your face. And oh, she's doing this and she's doing this and she's eating this. But now that she's in my care, I'm finding out what she actually was eating. And, I'm finding out all of this stuff she's been telling me. And it just breaks my heart.
The pandemic made it even harder to know what was going on inside here.
I have not been inside the home this entire year because of COVID. So I wasn't able to see what the conditions were like inside.
LaEllen says she's now trying to help her mom mentally recover.
She's very distraught and she's very, traumatized by the whole situation and grieving losing, two of her friends.
And is offering this message to those with family inside the 2 other First Love Care Home locations.
The main thing that I would say is don't go by what, the caregivers and the owners, don't go by what they tell you. Go do your research. There's so many organizations I'm learning about now, like DCH, and you can go in and actually find out what violations there are against the home.
Celeste Springer, on your side.
On Monday, we let you listen to the 911 call coming out of First Love Care Home. And tonight, we're learning the woman who made that call was with the residents overnight, but did not have to be hospitalized.
Also this evening, the Richmond County school system investigating after a video of a mom claiming her daughter was the victim of racial bullying. In a Facebook Live video, Ebony Davis says her daughter was called race-based names at Davidson Fine Arts Magnet School.
My baby is beautiful. Beautiful. Ain't nothing wrong with her.
That video is about 20 minutes long, and in it, Davis can be heard making some claims against the school. The Richmond County School System says administrators will follow the Code of Student Conduct and Discipline in that case. In Georgia, the deadline is October the 30th. That's 1 week from tomorrow. Taking you out now for a live look at the Columbia County Fair. It is back. This is opening night. Gates opening just about an hour ago, but look at all the rides set up, and they are good to go. The fair is back, and it's a good thing to see something looking a little more normal.
Yeah, they are trying to keep it COVID safe this year, so everything's outside. There's no seated events, and all the rides will be sanitized. The fair is open now through next weekend if you get a chance to get out there. But it looks like in terms of social distancing, people are trying to stay, a little ways apart.
Perfect night for it, Riley.
Definitely is. Weather is cooperating with us this evening. Temperatures should be in the 70s if you're heading out to the fair. Have a look at Friday and your weekend forecast coming up.
And one Augusta address is home to hundreds of code violations and calls to deputies. Months ago, our I-team started digging, and tonight we're exposing a pattern of problems, and you're paying for some of it.
Please stand with me.
Tonight, a 5-month I-team investigation into one address that's home to hundreds of crime reports and hazardous code violations. It's also home to hundreds of local families.
Families who say they are stuck, some unable to return to their condemned building. One property owner collecting thousands of your tax dollars every single month. Calls for help came into the I-team this summer, and tonight our Meredith Anderson is getting answers.
The pandemic is forcing even more families to the brink of poverty. Families and children in need of safe and affordable housing who called me to say they weren't getting that at Azalea Park Apartments in Augusta until the I-team stepped in. It was supposed to be a short trip.
This ain't no vacation out with one. This is a two.
But after 4 months in 2 local motels, Marquea Frazier and Lindsay McCain are ready to go home. Problem is, they can't. Their building is condemned.
So it's like just one slap in the face after another.
June 25th, the couple woke up to chaos and smoke in their Azalea Park apartment, thanks to a neighbor's early morning cooking accident.
3 or 4 firefighters telling me, get out, the building's on fire.
Both got a new lease on life, even though Marquea says she's still stuck with her old lease.
I'm still locked into a lease with them. Until November the 5th is when of this year, my lease will be up.
And even if we don't live in that apartment, they're still asking
For rent.
But how can they ask for the rent if you don't live there because the building's condemned?
It was the same question that we asked, but they didn't give us no direct answer.
For a couple of months,
Hello?
we couldn't get an answer from management at Azalea Park either. Thank you for calling Azalea Park. And then this happened. Finally, they agreed to go on camera with the I-team because this isn't the only allegation we've uncovered. And since thousands of your tax dollars go there every month in the form of Section 8 vouchers, we wanted to get answers. For you, but especially for the people who live there.
Several are in fear that they will lose their lease because many are on housing.
This video is from before the fire, back in early June, after we first started investigating problems. That same month, I asked the Augusta Housing Authority just how many Section 8 vouchers they issued for Azalea Park. The answer? 111. 111 separate families, all paying one owner thousands of your taxpayer money monthly. Families sent us photos like these, but most complaints to the I-team were about temperature.
We have older people out here who have been out here with through the winter, through the summers with no heat and no air.
She says it's a problem for her, too.
For over a month now.
The protest was cut short
Old lady right here don't got no water. She had no water.
when staff called Richmond County deputies.
And hopefully that the I-team can do a story on it.
So we went to work, and here's what I uncovered. 240 code enforcement violations since 2015. 144 of them just in the last 2 years. Some are relatively minor, like repair ceiling. But then we found some more complicated ones, like a plumbing system with improper installation, deterioration, or damage, exposed wires, rotting wood. As for the heating and air complaints, code enforcement confirms that would fall under this violation. Other appliances do too, but we're told, yes, most of that is AC issues. In all, we counted 28 different violations. Marquea Frazier said she had problems from day one.
My countertops were not finished. Nothing they told me they was gonna get done, it never got done.
But at least it was livable. After the extensive fire damage, code enforcement called it unfit for human occupancy.
And I worked so hard to get that apartment and to keep paying my rent and stuff on time, and to have this happen, I feel like the bottom just fell out.
Meanwhile, violations weren't the only things piling up. Citations were too. Code enforcement issuing this one, and this one, and this one, and you get the idea. The property manager would now have to face a judge in magistrate court. The next step? Code enforcement would shut the place down, asking commissioners to take action against their business license. The I-team also hearing from a couple in Texas who came all the way to Augusta to check on a family member living at Azalea Park on Section 8 vouchers. They were appalled at the collapsing ceiling, mold-ridden carpets, and roaches. They claimed it had been going on for months, and the family member has fallen more than 15 times. But that's not why they reached out. This is. Apparently, a maintenance person left a list of work orders in the apartment. I was stunned to see over 100 work orders describing failed inspections, mold, inoperative appliances, doors, windows, etc. Apparently, their scheduling system is based on texts from tenants. So you see verbiage like, when will you return? And I am reporting again. Which brings us to October 7th, where for the first time, Azalea employees invited me in, answered a few questions off camera, and promised to give our cameras a look at their new HVAC units the following week. But after texts and phone calls,
I'm just waiting on her to come in
Give me a call.
Hey, Miss Manager.
No one ever made good on that promise. We kept digging and found Azalea Park isn't just known to code enforcement. Richmond County deputies are also frequent visitors. The I-team combed through more than a year of crime data and found Azalea Park is one of the biggest nuisance properties in Augusta, making the top 10 hotspots for crime call-outs month after month. In 2019 alone, 473 total calls to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. By October of this year, already 405 calls. Suspicious activity, domestic violence, noise disturbances, thefts, vandalism, burglary, even multiple calls for firearms and sexual assault. On top of that, Azalea Park hasn't always been in good standing with yet another government agency. Records show the Augusta Housing Authority barred the property from receiving government benefits from 2013 until 2016 when the property was sold. I found it was then sold again in 2018. According to its own website, the current owner, Surest Property Group, is based in Decatur and owns 12 properties in Georgia. Azalea Park is its only local property. Code enforcement confirms things are getting better there and problems are getting fixed. But Azalea Park isn't off the hook just yet.
I was finally able to confirm Azalea Park released Marquea Frazier from her lease, and she doesn't owe any rent money after the fire. She was happy to hear that and tells me she is working to get her security deposit back, hopefully to use for another apartment.
So frustrating, though, for all those families living there after all this time.
Right, and you wonder if there's others who are still paying that rent that they're asking for. All right, Riley, outside, it